My experiment for the biology honors project was how protein affects a person's happiness. The question that we're going to be answering is how much of a difference will not eating protein and eating protein affect an individual's happiness. Protein plays a large part in being happy. This is because there are two certain proteins that are necessary to create the neurotransmitters dopamine and serotonin. They make a person feel happy and relaxed, but without these neurotransmitters, they can cause mood swings and depression. Another great thing is that it allows for more dopamine and serotonin to be released. This begs the question, how much does protein actually affect a person's happiness? This question helped me come up with my hypothesis. A subject that consumes protein will be 20% happier or more than when the subject does not consume protein. The materials needed is 3 peanut and almond protein bars, 2 boxes of 8-ounce Barilla spaghetti, 2 Flintstone vitamins, 2 papers and a pencil, and a pot and water. There are a lot of variables that go into this experiment. The controlled variables are the time people fall asleep and wake up, their routines, their outfits, the consumption of spaghetti noodles and Flintstone vitamins, and the time at which happiness is recorded. The dependent variable is the level of happiness being felt. The independent is the amount of protein. Some confounding variables is that the subject has to attempt to do the same activities each day, but events that have not been accounted for could happen, changing the way they feel. Another one is that subjects might have certain medical conditions that would force them to take pills, changing the amount of dopamine and serotonin they receive, and therefore causing the data to change. On the top left, I used paper slips for trial 1 and 2, had the subjects write their happiness on the time slots and give a name. Then I added up the values and found the mean for those scores, as seen underneath, and put those means into 2 graphs. The graph shows that people were always happier after consuming protein. I told the subjects to take pictures of them with the spaghetti and protein bars and chose the ones that I found the most interesting out of all of them. Data showed that people that consume protein are 9.3% happier than the subjects that did not, which does not support the hypothesis that predicted a 20% increase. The results support the research conducted. People felt happier after they ate protein due to an increase in the production of serotonin and dopamine. The advantages of this experiment is that it can be conducted dozens of times with a large amount of people from a population. The disadvantages are that people could pretend to do the experiment and give false data. They could forget to write down their level of happiness at the timestamp given, and also, pills that release serotonin and dopamine would also change the results. It is implicated that protein has an effect on an individual's emotions. People with depression could start to eat more protein, as it would help them feel happier. Another good experiment would be having a person run 30 minutes one day and not run the next day and record their level of happiness. The subjects were informed that they would have to record their level of happiness on a scale of 1 to 10. The results showed that the subjects were 9.3% happier on average after eating protein. The objective to find the difference between eating no protein and eating protein on a person's level of happiness, and this task was completed. The hypothesis, a subject that consumes protein will be 20% happier or more than when the subject does not consume protein, should be rejected, as 9.3% increase of happiness is far less than what was predicted.